Good morning, true crimers. I'm coming live this morning to do a rundown of the two trending cases that are happening and hopefully give the one some attention because she hasn't been found yet. But welcome to True Crime and Celebrity News. My name is Ronnie, and today is Thursday, October 16th. And it's going to be a good day today. I woke up in a lot of pain from therapy. I got to go back today, so I'll do my live at a little bit early today for the Daisy link in hopes that it'll be done by the time I leave to go to therapy. I don't know. I'm trying, but I wanted to kind of get this one done too. Just to get her name out there and then talk about the little boy that went missing in Georgia. And unfortunately, he was found unalived, allegedly by his father. And we're finding out that he is a twin. He has a twin brother. How sad that twin will now live without his little brother. But anyways, let's get on to Kada Scott. It's weird. My mom was a Scott. But they do have a suspect, and he is charged with kidnapping another woman. And somehow those charges allegedly kidnapped another woman. Those charges were dropped because they pressed the charges. She didn't show up. Then they did it again and she didn't show up. So they just completely dropped the charges against him. So this has happened again. This gentleman that is in jail right now. Kind of starting a little, I thought this was more of before all this happened, but we'll just go with this. Let's listen to what they have to say.
All right, so that's one pair of glasses.
Yep.
With prescription lenses,
Mhm.
plus anti-reflective lens coating.
Oh,
It's so weird that I have YouTube Premium, but I have
UV protection, award-winning customer service.
that's me.
That's also me. Free returns, free exchanges, and free frame adjustments for life.
And how much more is that?
Oh, it's all included at Warby Parker.
So my glasses
Are still just $95.
Oh,
Surprise! I just get excited.
This morning, authorities in Philadelphia are intensifying their search for missing 23-year-old nursing home worker Kada Scott after arresting a suspect in connection with the case. 21-year-old Keon King charged with kidnapping.
Our evidence is pretty clear that she was in communication with an individual. That individual appears to meet her very shortly after she leaves her place of work. And very shortly after that, she disappears off of the footprint.
Scott was last seen the evening of October 4th, leaving this assisted living facility during an overnight shift. The car left in the parking lot. Police receiving two key tips Wednesday, one leading them to this abandoned elementary school where they recovered evidence of value, and another to the rear of an apartment building where they found what they believe to be the suspect's vehicle.
We also believe she may have been in that vehicle.
Authorities say before she disappeared, Scott told relatives she was being harassed. It's unclear if King was the person allegedly harassing her. The investigation now being led by the homicide unit, but officials are not characterizing this as a homicide investigation.
Homicide investigators are seasoned investigators and know how to find people and put cases together, and that's why they're on this case. They're going to locate Kada Scott primarily from tracking his cell phone, tracking his car, tracking his friends, tracking familiar locations, and in particular, if they can figure out maybe where she was harmed, it may give them a direction as to where she might be.
Kada's loved ones are holding on to hope as they desperately await answers.
Day to day, definitely worried, but I'm hopeful we are going to find Kada. I'm confident. Me and her mother, we raised a strong, confident, intelligent young woman. So I'm going to remain confident that she's okay.
And right now, investigators are working under the assumption that Kada is still alive. And guys, since tips have led to some substantial evidence in this case, her family is raising money for a reward for tips that could lead to their daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, get some answers.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and read over this. A suspect has been arrested in the connection with the disappearance of the 23-year-old nursing assistant in Philadelphia, who was allegedly harassed by an unknown individual before she went missing. So had that woman, now I'm not saying she's at fault because she's not, but had she shown up for court and went through with it, because you never know, maybe she was threatened, by him. So we don't know. By an unknown individual before she went missing. However, the search continues for the missing woman, Philadelphia police said. Kada Scott was last seen by her mother on October 4th when she was leaving for work at a nearby nursing home, police said last week on Wednesday. Police said Keon King, 21, has been charged with kidnapping for his involvement in the disappearance of Scott. While King is in custody in connection with Scott's disappearance, officials said a lot of work is still being done in the investigation, and they are still treating this as if Mrs. Scott is still alive. The number one priority is locating Miss Scott. John M. Sanford, the first deputy commissioner for field operations at the Philadelphia Police Department, said on Wednesday, Scott arrived at work on October 4th, but left prior to her shift's completion. So I heard they called the nursing home, and one person said, no, she was here, but she left right before her shift was over. And then another person said, no, she left about 40 minutes after her shift started. So I don't know who they would have to contact to get for sure on that, or maybe they know already and they just aren't saying. But she worked the night shift, the 10 to 6. It was not clear what time Scott left work, but officials said her shift typically was from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So Scott was reported missing to police on October 5th. Up before her disappearance, Miss Scott related to her family and friends that an unknown individual or person has been harassing her via phone, Craig said last week. Officials were able to recover Scott's vehicle, which was located in the parking lot of a nursing home where she worked, Craig said. On Wednesday, officials says evidence showed Scott was in communication with an individual identified as King, and that she appeared to meet with him very shortly after she left work on October 4th. But we don't know what time. That time would, put a good time, but they said her footprints stopped after that. Mr. King is the last person we believe to be in contact with her when she went offline. So they're looking for the suspect's vehicle. It's a 1999 metallic gold Toyota Camry with Pennsylvania license plates MSX/0797, which they believe Scott may have been in later on Wednesday. Police confirmed that King's vehicle, it's been found in an apartment lot. And here's a picture. Officials said they received 2 tips. The first led them to an elementary school where they recovered evidence of value, and the second that led them to a vehicle connected to Scott's disappearance. Officials on Wednesday said the car has front end damage on the left bumper, the left front bumper, and that it could be anywhere. They're saying that King has a little bit of a pattern of this type of history. Oh, he should. It seems like these last couple of months, these offenders allegedly seem to have this type of pattern. When most of them should have been in jail already and never had a chance to hurt anybody, allegedly. The little bit of pattern of this type of history, as he was involved in a case earlier this year where he was accused of kidnapping and strangling a female acquaintance, officials said. The case was dismissed after the witness failed to appear in court. I can't pronounce her last name, said on Wednesday they made the decision to refile those charges. On Tuesday, police told ABC News the investigation was being led by the homicide unit, but they said they were not characterizing it as a homicide investigation. The 23-year-old's father, Kada Scott, told ABC News the family remains confident she's going to be with us soon as possible. It's been difficult, extremely difficult. We keep faith that she's okay and she's going to be with us as soon as possible. She's going to be found and hopefully no harm is done to her. I'm going to keep that positive vibe going, Kada Scott told ABC News. Man, keep that. You have to. You have to be able to keep that positive vibe. Okay. They had a press conference, but it was over an hour long. And I want to kind of keep this till like about 9:30 because I'm going to go do the Daisy Link at 10. So I do kind of want to keep this a little short, but still get their story out there, So let's check the 1 hour ago. This is what was said an hour, or what was reported an hour ago. Like I'm on AOL dial-up. The weather's not very good outside. So police find key evidence connected to Kada Scott's disappearance. As the search continues for Kada Scott, the 23-year-old woman who has been missing for nearly 2 weeks, police said they found key pieces of evidence connected to her disappearance on Wednesday, and they made an arrest of a suspect. According to police, Keon King, 21, turned himself into authorities as he is charged with kidnapping and is reported to be the last person to have contact with Scott. Earlier this week, Philadelphia police homicide detectives took over the investigation. During a Wednesday morning press conference, the police clarified that the homicide unit and the FBI are part of the investigation because they have the most experienced investigators and resources. Okay, we're a little stuck here. On Wednesday, detectives searched the grounds of... Oh, I don't know why this is moving so slow. Boy, for having fiber optic, it sure ain't doing very good, is it? I'm really trying hard to make this a good video for people to watch. On Wednesday, detectives searched the grounds of Ada Middle School, an abandoned school in East Mount Airy, and found some of Scott's personal items, including a pink phone case and a debit card with Scott's name on it. The location is across from the Aubrey Auditorium, where investigators searched last belongs to King and is linked to the investigation. A 1999 gold Toyota Camry with damage to its front and driver's side. The car was listed on Facebook Marketplace a few weeks before Scott was reported missing. The car was found at Gypsy Lane Condos, an apartment complex in East Fall, Philadelphia. Police towed the car away and obtained a search warrant to find more evidence that could point to Scott's whereabouts. She was really pretty. Very, very pretty. So if anyone has any information regarding Kada Scott, they are asked to call 215-686-8577. And you can also be anonymous and submit tips to somewhere online. Let's click it and see where it takes us. Oh, you can submit a tip here. 911 via telephone at the number 215-686-TIPS-8477 or tips at phillypolice.com. If you know anything about Kada Scott and her disappearance, or if you know anything about Mr. King, if you know something, say something. The smallest tip could be the biggest, Need to remember that. All right, let's go on to the little boy in Georgia. Because I just want everyone to remember that everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So everything is alleged that I'm talking about. I don't want anyone to think I'm accusing them. All right. So in October 2025, a 6-month-old baby, the name is pronounced weird, but it's Nnakai Pratt, was found unalived in a dumpster in Riverdale, Georgia, after being reported missing by his father, Antonio Pearce. Pearce has since been charged with his son's murder after inconsistencies were found in his account of the baby's disappearance. So here's the timeline. Sunday, October 12th, 2025, Antonio Pearce reported his baby missing in Riverdale, south of Atlanta. He told police that robbers stole $6,500 and the green stuff, and his son, who was in the car seat. Also on Sunday, October 12th, police arrested Pearce on unrelated charges, including the green stuff possession and making false statements due to discrepancies in his story. On Tuesday, October 14th, Nnakai Pratt's body was discovered in a dumpster near the apartment complex where he was reported missing. Wednesday, October 15th, Pearce was officially charged with Nnakai murder, concealing a death, tampering with evidence, and other offenses. So, the suspicious story. Clayton County Police found Pearce's account of the kidnapping highly questionable and quickly deemed him a suspect. Also, he has a surviving twin. and his sibling remained safe with their mother, who is also under investigation. Unrelated charges. Pearce was already facing charges for drug and traffic offenses before being charged with his son's murder. Wow. I don't know how many stories we're going to have to keep hearing about parents or babysitters or, just anybody out there unaliving children. I mean, who? I could never imagine, like, how bad could a 6-month-old be? So let's start out with I kind of want to be careful because I don't want to get struck. So let's go to YouTube. And also in my disclosure down there, I asked that people be patient. I'm learning. And my body hurts too much to sit at my desk. So I'm kind of using a split screen. I didn't know my computer had a split screen. So we're doing that. Oh, okay. So this has been updated 2 hours ago.
News here tonight at 11. The tragic end to the search for a missing baby. I'm Blair Miller.
And I'm Tracy Hutchins. It's the news no one wanted to hear. Investigators in Clayton County have found the body of a 6-month-old little boy. No one had seen Nnakai Pratt since Sunday. That's when he was first reported missing by his father. Atlanta News first anchor Joe Gorcho is live in Riverdale.
And Joe, this child's father's already been named a suspect in this case.
And also, in my disclosure...
And Blair and Tracy, it remains to be seen whether or not he will face charges now in connection to the death of baby Nnakai Pratt. And right now, this community here feels absolutely shattered after watching Clayton County investigators search this wooded area that you see behind me here for hours this evening, followed by the arrival of the medical examiner, now knowing that Nnakai Pratt is dead. A partition blocks the view after Clayton County Police find the remains of Nnakai Pratt Tuesday night in the same neighborhood where he was reported missing 2 days earlier.
This is a nightmare. Make you want to hold your kids tighter at night.
Police searched everywhere for Nnakai, from under homes to dumpsters, and ultimately focused on this wooded area this evening.
This is going to hurt the community really, really bad.
Investigators share that Nnakai's father, Antonio Pearce, said he was robbed at gunpoint and drug dealers kidnapped his baby.
What happened? Because at this point, it's more or less what happened.
Clayton County Police didn't feel Pearce's story added up, and they did not issue an Amber Alert Sunday morning, as would be typical in a missing child situation. Instead, investigators suspected foul play. Clayton County Police say Pearce is a suspect, and he's currently in custody on unrelated charges to Nnakai's disappearance, now his death. Has it been difficult in the neighborhood over the last couple of days?
Yeah, people have wanted to know what's going on. People have been asking questions. People have been, just talking and saying what they remember from that day.
How do you think this will affect the community in the days and months to come?
We're going to feel it for a while.
So Pearce, the father of Nnakai Pratt, does have a court appearance scheduled for tomorrow for those unrelated charges, again, not in connection to the disappearance or the death of his son. And like I mentioned to you, Blair and Tracy, at the beginning of this story, we have reached out to find out if he will now face charges in relation to Nnakai's death. Back to you in the studio.
Doug, right now at 7:03, we have a new development in the death of 6-month-old Nnakai Pratt. Both his mother and father will be appearing in court later this morning. His father is charged with the baby's death after Nnakai's body was discovered in the woods of an apartment complex in Riverdale 3 days after he was reported missing. 11 Alive 7-inch Haynock continues to follow this case closely for us live this morning from the Clayton County Jail. And Seth, we know now the mother has some involvement according to investigators. What do we know about her arrest?
Yeah, so Jonathan, we know both parents of Nnakai Pratt, the 6-month-old baby found dead a few days ago. They're here inside the Clayton County Jail. We know the mother, whose name is Nnakai Pratt. She was taken into custody yesterday, though we're still waiting to confirm on what detectives believe, or if they believe she is involved in her baby's death. Now the father, Antonio Pearce, who initially claimed that the child was stolen from his car seat during an armed robbery by drug dealers on Sunday, he's facing even more charges now after police said his statement from the very beginning seemed suspicious. This morning, authorities adding a list of charges against Pearce, including malice murder, concealing a death, tampering with evidence, and cruelty to children. A judge denying him bond yesterday during his first court appearance. Well, now the mother of the baby, she will be in a court today. Baby Nnakai's mother charged with obstructing an officer, making false statements, and being party to the commission of a crime. Her exact role still undetermined. We're also learning from authorities that baby Nnakai's twin sister, that baby now is in the custody of the Department of Family and Children's Services at this hour, as the investigation into what happened to Nnakai is still happening. We also know that the baby's autopsy is expected at some point this week. So we're waiting to see what that shows as far as how baby Nnakai died, Jonathan.
Yes, so many questions here about what happened. But Seth, let's take it back a couple days to Sunday. I know yesterday the official report came out talking about the initial call to the apartment complex in Riverdale where the baby was reported missing again on Sunday. What else are we learning from that report this morning?
So some interesting details came out of that full report. So what we learned is that Pearce, the baby's father, he described his apartment at that apartment complex in Riverdale as a stash house. He also had told officers he had 3 pounds of marijuana and more than $6,000 in cash inside of the apartment. He also initially told responding officers that baby Nnakai, and as well as his twin sister, and also the mother of the twins, were with him when Nnakai disappeared. A lot of new details coming out of this report, Jonathan, including a witness who says he saw Pearce in the woods the morning that the baby was reported missing. And so a lot of questions, a lot of answers, but also, Jonathan, a lot of details still being released.
Yeah, and to, sort of figure out if those details are accurate, according to the mother and father, someone obviously not telling the truth here. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Seth.
Story we've been covering all week. The father of a missing 6-month-old baby found dead Tuesday is now being charged in his child's death. And then it is first.
So what do you guys think? What do you think that brought this to unalive the little boy, and now there's the twin sister? I mean, I just don't understand how a mother can carry 2 babies for 9 months and then just get rid of one of them. Like, what in your mind or the father's mind would make somebody do that? I just don't know. I just don't get it. Like, it's wild. I don't know. I carried a baby for 9 months, and I'll be danged if anyone's going to hurt my child. No. Even hurting her feelings make my feelings hurt. I get up every morning, and I tell my daughter, good morning, I love you, because then that's there, I feel good the whole day knowing that she knows that her mommy loves her. But she's 23 years old now. Well, 22. She'll be 23 in December. But, all right, let's hear what these guys have to say.
Don Shipman is live with the First Alert breaking news tracker outside the Clayton County Jail. And Don, there are questions this morning, new ones, about the baby's mother. Yeah, because records here at the jail show that a woman with the same name as the baby's mother was booked here last night. We reached out to Clayton County for confirmation on that. They wouldn't answer our question, only saying, I'm going to quote here, the case is still ongoing and active. But this right here, this is what we do know. This right here is confirmed that the baby's father is in jail, charged with murder. According to a 112-page arrest warrant, police used Antonio Pearce's phone records to search his Riverdale apartment complex, where they say that they found baby Nnakai dead inside a trash bag in the woods. Police say that the 6-month-old had a head injury. Pearce reported baby Nnakai missing on Sunday, but police say his story and the baby's mother's didn't add up.
You're also charged with false statements, and that you did provide contradictory statements in an investigation of a missing child, and when witness accounts verified your contradictory statements, you admitted to concealing and falsifying material facts.
So that right there, his first court appearance. He'll have another court appearance later this morning at 11 o'clock. We're live here in Clayton County. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
Developing now at 5, police say the mother's role in the case of a 6-month-old found dead is under investigation. And they say the baby's twin sister has been placed in the custody of the Department of Family and Children Services while detectives work the case. Police filed murder charges against the child's father this afternoon. Channel 2's Tom Jones, live now in Clayton County. And Tom, you talked to a woman who started a memorial for that baby.
And George, Kimberly Williams got emotional as she and her 3 kids placed these flowers and teddy bears here at the scene where baby Nakia's body was found. Her son even left a message here. It says, rest in peace, we miss you. Williams says it is very hard to understand how a father could take a life he helped create.
It just breaks my heart, like someone would do something like this to a child.
Kimberly Williams was so disturbed by the death of 6-month-old Nnakai Pratt, she and her kids placed flowers and teddy bears near the spot where the child's body was found Tuesday evening. I told her the baby's father, Antonio Pearce, now faces murder charges.
Thank God, because how could a father, that's his blood. I don't understand. That's his blood.
Pearce faces malice murder, first-degree child cruelty, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, tampering with evidence, concealing a death, and false reporting of a crime.
You're also charged with false statements.
Pearce went before a judge on the false statements charge. The judge read from a warrant that says Pearce also faces marijuana with intent to distribute. She says he had 3 ounces of marijuana when he was arrested.
You did admit during interviews that you sell drugs and keep marijuana and money at an abandoned home.
But it's the murder charges that bothers so many people.
I just can't imagine what would be going on in your head to do something like that. I just don't know.
Kimberly Williams got emotional as she and her kids started this memorial to baby Nnakai.
It's just so sad.
And Pearce is being held without bond on the false statement charges. The judge said his criminal history here and in another state and the nature of these charges are why she denied him bond. We're live in Clayton County. Tom Jones, Channel 2 Action News.
I think those teddy bears there on the ground represents the life of a 6-month-old. Tom, thank you. And count on Channel 2 Action News. We're going to continue to follow this.
Wow. It's just crazy.
Case. We'll bring you any new developments on air and online.
Hurt their baby. The mother. I mean, maybe she didn't have allegedly hurt their child. Maybe she didn't have a part in it, but she knew of it, and that makes her just as guilty. But for them to do this is just wild to me. We'll never understand. We never will. Because we're not in that mindset, We're never in that mindset. Poor little baby. Oh, they said he had a head injury. 6 months old. He never even had a chance. How sad. I'm glad that they gave the memorial, though. They put that memorial out there. Maybe some other people will bring some more teddy bears for the little baby. you know.
WSB TV.
Breaking news we just confirmed in the last hour, the mother of a 6-month-old baby found dead is now facing criminal charges. It's the latest development in the tragic death of Nnakai Pratt. And investigators recovered his little body last night from the backyard of a home in Riverdale. This is just days after neighbors reported him missing. Now, at first, his dad told police that drug dealers abducted his 6-month-old. Well, just hours after last night's discovery, authorities charged Nnakai's dad, Antonio Pearce, with murder along with concealing a death and child cruelty. 11 Alive's Kada Alcorn live right now from the Clayton County Jail in Jonesboro, where Pearce is still locked up as we speak. So, Cody, you found a mother in the jail bookings tonight less than an hour ago. What can you tell us about her charges?
Well, Ron, earlier this week, Clayton County Police confirmed that Nnakai's twin was with their mother, and she had custody of him or her at the time. However, in the last 48 hours, she has been placed into state custody, and Nnakai Pratt, the twins' mother, has been locked up here behind me in the same jail where the twins' father is also locked up. Antonio Pearce's arrest warrant obtained by 11 Alive on Wednesday shows something terrible happened inside this apartment complex. An acquaintance telling Clayton County Police Pearce said he blanked up and that the 12 was coming, meaning police. And a short time later, this complex was flooded with officers. Pearce, alleging 2 men held him at gunpoint, forced him into a stash house where he had 3 pounds of drugs and $6,500 in cash. When he came out, he says Nnakai was missing out of his car seat, which launched a large-scale multi-agency search as canines were brought in and drones used to search the property. Clayton County detectives were building their case, explaining early on there were inconsistencies in Pearce's story and witnesses contradicted his statements. However, their focus remained on finding baby Nnakai until everyone's worst fear became reality on Tuesday evening. The search stopped. Crime scene tape went up, and his little body was found in the backyard of a home which backs up to this apartment complex, ending a 3-day search for a little man who never got a chance at life. And tonight we do know Nnakai Pratt, the twins' mother, is facing several charges, including obstructing an officer, false statements, and party to the commission of a crime. Now, we are still working to learn more about the specifics of these crimes and, of course, when she will appear in court. I also do want to mention we do expect Nnakai's autopsy to be done some point tomorrow. Again, we know it's a homicide, but after this autopsy, we should learn how he was killed. Live in Jonesboro, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News. Man, whatever.
Wow. Well, hopefully they'll find out maybe today how the little man was unalived and unfortunately thrown in a dumpster where he should have never have been. It's always the rug dealer. Always the rug dealer that stole the baby. It's not funny, but it's just, you got to laugh sometimes because these stories can be so heart-wrenching. And, but anyways, I think I'm going to end this. I just wanted to kind of give an update on the last few days, what stories have been trending, which was Kada Scott, and Nnakai Pratt. I knew I wasn't going to be on very long because I have my live for Daisy coming up at 10 or 10:30, one of the two, I think 10. And I just kind of wanted to get their name out there and get the little baby out there. I don't know if there's any GoFundMes for the little baby for a funeral. I don't know. I'm pretty sure on one of these local newses, you could probably find somewhere to donate, like to a funeral home or something. Because I'm sure he's probably going to need to be, buried or cremated, one of the two, the poor baby. Shouldn't have to even be talking about that for a 6-month-old. He should be laughing and cooing and drinking milk right now. But instead, he's sitting at a morgue, and it's just wild to me. It makes me so upset. But anyways, I know this probably wasn't as good as other YouTubers, but I'm trying. I'm still trying to figure out how to put together a good live stream, you know, like all the other ones do. But it's hard, you know, it's hard to, and you know, and I just had been really sick, and still sick with COVID, and I'm going through therapy, but I am trying this YouTube thing out because they told me I need to be more active. So I'm trying, but don't forget to like the live, and please leave a comment. Tell me what I need to work on more. This is mostly practice. I mean, I'm not using these tragedies for practice, but, you know, at least I'm getting their name out there. But if you know anything about the whereabouts of Kada Scott, please, please call the local police department in Philadelphia. And if you have any information on the unaliving of Nnakai Pratt, please call the local law enforcement for Clayton County. I'm sure they would love to have any tips for either case. But anyways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on the replay, please like the live. Like it, dislike it. It doesn't matter. Just pick one of them. All right. You guys all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. And I don't know what I just did. Stay safe. And have a great Thursday. All right. See you guys in the next one, okay? Bye-bye.